We tend to think of science as a noble pursuit, a cooperative effort where learned men and women work together for the greater good. We imagine them sharing data, peer-reviewing papers, and politely debating theories over tea. But in the late 19th century, the field of paleontology was not a gentleman's club. It was a street fight, a dirty, violent, and vindictive war fought in the dust of the American West. This was the Bone Wars, a feud so bitter it makes modern academic rivalries look like playground squabbles. The combatants were two of the most brilliant minds of their generation, Othniel Charles Marsh and Edward Drinker Cope. Marsh was the establishment man, a professor at Yale, wealthy, methodical, and politically connected. Cope was the prodigy, a Quaker from Philadelphia, fiery, brilliant, and largely self-taught. Surprisingly, they started as friends. They even named species after each other in the early days. But the friendship was fragile. They were both arrogant, and the American West was too small for both of their egos. The break happened in 1868, with a mistake that would haunt Cope forever. Cope had reconstructed a marine reptile called the Elasmosaurus. It had a long neck and a short tail. At least, that's what Cope thought. In his haste, he had placed the skull on the wrong end of the spine. Marsh came to visit, took one look at the skeleton, and pointed out that the neck was actually the tail. Cope was humiliated. He tried to buy back every copy of the journal that published his mistake, but Marsh made sure the error was public. The war was on. For the next 30 years, they wouldn't just try to outperform each other, they would try to destroy each other. The battlefield was the fossil-rich grounds of Colorado, Wyoming, and Nebraska. It was a gold rush, but for dinosaurs, and just like the gold rush, it was lawless. Marsh and Cope threw their fortunes into the dirt. They hired armies of diggers, often recruiting armed mercenaries. They didn't play fair. If Cope hired a team, Marsh would offer them double to switch sides. If money didn't work, they used spies. They sent men to infiltrate each other's camps and report back on new finds. They would intercept shipments at train stations, diverting crates of bones to the wrong museums. But the rivalry turned from competitive to purely destructive. When one team finished excavating a site, they wouldn't just leave. They would dynamite the remaining fossils. Their logic was simple and cruel. If I can't have these bones, nobody can. They destroyed priceless scientific data, millions of years of history, just to spite a rival. Back in the East, the war was fought with ink. They published savage articles attacking each other's character. Marsh accused Cope of plagiarism. Cope accused Marsh of stealing government funds. They spent their entire fortunes fueling this hatred. By the end, Cope was living in a small apartment, surrounded by bones he couldn't afford to store. Marsh died with only a few dollars in his bank account, having burned through his inheritance. Yet, in their blind fury, they accomplished something incredible. Before the Bone Wars, only 9 species of dinosaurs were known in North America. Driven by the desire to humiliate the other guy, they discovered 136 new species. They gave us the Triceratops, with its 3 horns. They found the Stegosaurus, with its plated back. They found the Diplodocus and the Allosaurus. They populated the imagination of the entire world. They filled the museums of New Haven, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. with giants. Science is usually cooperative, but sometimes progress is fueled by pure, unadulterated spite. Marsh and Cope hated each other until their dying breaths. But look at any dinosaur book today and you will see the results of their war on every page. They destroyed themselves to win a game that, in the end, we all won.